Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Merz, the Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at Live Action. And one of the reasons I'm personally pro-life is that I'm the oldest of 14 kids. Yes, that is correct. You heard correctly, 14. Lila Rose, our president and founder of Live Action, often jokes that when she found out I was the oldest of so many kids, I was hired on the spot. Growing up, I was around babies and children constantly, of course. And every time I felt one of my siblings and held one of my siblings, I felt just this overwhelming feeling of awe and love of each little burrito bundle with perfect little eyes and nose and that awesome smell when you smell the tops of their heads, these wonderful newborns. So I was moved every time I had a new sibling. But there was one moment that really changed my life. When I was around 12, my mom shared and kind of helped me to realize that my dad and mom actually conceived me out of wedlock. My mama was only 18 years old, a senior in high school in the late 80s. And of course, abortion was legal then, becoming commonly accepted. And I realized and learned that, she would have been considered a crisis pregnancy or an unexpected pregnancy. And that my mom also shared with me, this was only 2 years ago, that abortion actually crossed her mind. And I think this might be one of the reasons why I am so deeply passionate about being pro-life, and I have this fire in me to protect little preborn children who are just like me. I could have been aborted, and there are so many. There are 2,363 children that die every day from abortion, in very similar circumstances to what I was also in. During college, I also continued to ignore this kind of feeling and burning within me, just knowing that abortion was wrong. And I thought it was kind of weird to go and pray outside of abortion facilities or speak out really bluntly about abortion. And there was this group of students that would go every Saturday morning to the abortion facility for my college, and they would bus kids into the city and here in DC. And every Saturday morning, I always came up with excuses and I never went. I was too tired or too sleepy. I had studying to do, papers to write. But I always felt this guilty feeling in my stomach of like, I probably should do something. I really should be going, but I just never did and just constantly pushed it down and ignored it. After college, I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, thinking I would maybe get involved in politics. I grew up in a military family, so I grew up in a family that was very dedicated to our country, sacrificial, and just that servant attitude. And so I thought I wanted to get involved in politics, and I actually got involved with another conservative nonprofit organization to kind of pursue this career path. And while I was at this other organization is when I heard our president, Lila Rose, speak here in DC. And I had never actually shared with anybody. I had this like secret little, I would call it like a stumbling block of why I wasn't 100% pro-life. And one of the reasons why I think I didn't become super involved in the pro-life movement during college. And the reason for that and my little stumbling block was, what about the problem of rape? I could not imagine myself being a young 20-year-old and being pregnant afterwards, being raped, and having that horrific trauma and then having a baby to take care of afterwards. But during her speech that I heard Lila speak, she kind of snapped that stumbling block and just kicked it out of the way and explained that why should a child be given the death penalty for the crimes of his or her father? The child is innocent, and the circumstances of that child's beautiful, miraculous conception does not determine the value of that human child. And from that moment, I just became so convicted. It was like something really clicked into place that being pro-life and against abortion is the only way to be. Shortly after I heard Lila speak, I began to see Live Action's undercover investigation videos coming across my social media feeds, on my Facebook feed. And I started to learn that there is an entire business model, an industry built around the killing of preborn children. I learned that a child can be legally poisoned, dismembered, and yanked out of their own mother's wombs legally, and that this killing is protected and funded by your and my taxpayer dollars. And I continued to learn that this web that is just entangled in every aspect of our culture is making millions of dollars off of the blood of children. This abortion industry engages in fraudulent and corrupt and criminal practices to protect abortion so that it can continue the killing. And I'm just going to share a few of those abuses. You may have heard some of these before, but it's a great reminder of the industry that is perpetrating abortion. Some of these abuses and practices that Live Action has uncovered, that the abortion industry and Planned Parenthood accept donations specifically to abort Black children. So we've caught them on the phone saying, oh yes, we can accept a donation to support Black women and make sure that, you know, we're providing Black women with abortion. We've also caught them systematically covering up statutory rape and sexual abuse and sex trafficking. We've caught them lying about the development of the preborn child in their womb, about the physical and psychological risks of abortion, and lying and saying, you know, not promoting the adoption process. We've caught them lying to women about the services they provide, such as prenatal care or ultrasounds or mammograms. They provide none of these. You can call a Planned Parenthood yourself, and they don't even offer them. They push and push abortion because they make way more money off of children, killing them in the womb, than children being born. We've also caught Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry deceiving taxpayers about their services. They can continue to receive hundreds of millions of taxpayer subsidies. Planned Parenthood alone receives over $500 million from you and I regularly every year. And this is an industry that already makes a profit. So what are they doing with all this money? We've also caught the abortion industry openly discussing infanticide. So that means letting a child die after birth, or even intentionally killing a child outside of the womb if the abortion failed or just didn't work. So this industry, again, year over year and day after day, 2,363 preborn children are lost. And that means over 3 million children lost worldwide every year. That's over 60 million children lost since Roe versus Wade was passed as law in our country. And we need to think about not only the 60 million children that are lost, but the 60 million fathers and mothers that are also dealing with this trauma and grief of abortion, and the countless siblings, aunts, uncles, grandparents who are also suffering this trauma of abortion, because we're missing people who should be in our society. Over a third of our generation is missing. And there are friends who we were supposed to have and people who are supposed to be in classes with us, and they're not because they were killed in the womb. Our country not only allows this killing legally, it is encouraged and even celebrated, as you know, through media, academia, and politics. And it's no wonder we are dealing with the upheaval and violence that we've seen over the last few months and days in our country. If we allow the violence of abortion, if we allow the killing of preborn children in the womb, pitting the most fundamental relationship of a mother and a child against each other, how can we solve any of the challenges our country is facing? How can we even envision a future of America if we are literally killing the future in the womb? To really save preborn children and to protect mothers and fathers and families from this horrific violence, to engage with our culture and counter the violence protected by this industry, we have to show up and speak for the victim, the preborn child. I think a lot of us probably assume that most people in our country have taken the time to really think about abortion. Everyone's made a very educated and informed stance, or they've, educated themselves, informed themselves to take a stance on abortion, but it's simply not the case. I am here to tell you that most Americans are pro-life and just don't know it yet. When someone sees what actually happens during an abortion, again, that it is the violent killing of a child in the womb, it is self-explanatory that it is wrong, or at the very least, our gut instinct, our gut reaction is disgust and horror. But the reality is that most people are never confronted with this truth, because abortion is hidden behind closed doors and trite sayings like abortion is a private decision between a woman and her doctor and protected under the call for women's rights. This injustice has been able to thrive over the past 50 plus years because these euphemisms and lies, people do not actually know what abortion does to the child, or the trauma and the grief that mothers and fathers experience afterwards. Like so many other human rights injustices, such as slavery, the injustice continues until someone sheds a light and shows the victim. For example, you may have seen the image of Whipped Peter. Whipped Peter was a slave who escaped from the South during the Civil War. And when his picture was taken when he was being medically examined. And you may have seen it before. It's kind of taken from his back, and his back is just riddled with scars and deep gashes and wounds from the whips of the slave owners. That image was published all over newspapers all over the country, and it spread like wildfire, and it helped to really cause that tipping point to end slavery in our country. Again, because this showed an image that humanized the victim of slavery. And we have to do the exact same thing for the preborn child and expose the violence that is happening to that child. That's what I do. That's what our live action team does. And Live Action actually distributes and creates and distributes stunning and thought-provoking pro-life videos and articles and graphics that are designed to show the humanity of the preborn child and the dignity of that child, and then expose what this violence actually does. Live Action, if you don't already follow us, you should. We have the largest online following for the pro-life movement, so the largest digital footprint online. We have over 5.2 million followers on social media. That's way more than Planned Parenthood, by the way. And we give people the opportunity to think and feel about abortion in ways that they've never been challenged to before. We're giving people that oh my gosh moment and move their hearts to truly see and comprehend that this is a tiny little child that is vulnerable in need of protection. As we know, words and images are extremely powerful, especially when they are words of truth. In 2017, Live Action actually released a series of abortion procedure videos. So we expose each of the 4 most prevalent abortion procedures. And these videos they feature Dr. Anthony Levatino, who's a former abortionist who himself committed over 1,200 abortions. So in each of the videos, he explains each of the different types of abortion. If you want to check them out, I highly recommend them on abortionprocedures.org. And so he shows the tools that are used for each abortion procedure. And then it's also accompanied by animations, graphic animations that show exactly what happens to the child. These videos, these abortion procedure videos, the 4 of them all together, have over 130 million views, making them the most viewed and most viral pro-life videos in the history of our movement. We had a gut instinct that these videos would have the power to change hearts and minds in abortion, but we really, we had to do a lot of research to know for sure. And we've done 2 things to prove that you can. The first is that we conducted an independent survey of 500 self-identified pro-choice women, and 32% said they viewed abortion less favorably after watching one of our abortion procedure videos. And 40% said that a pregnant woman considering abortion should definitely see these videos. Imagine if we could change 1/3 of the voting bloc in our country. It would be a game changer. This would be the tipping point if we can really convince people how wrong abortion is. And imagine if every woman considering an abortion saw one of these videos to expose what really happens to her. We actually have a really awesome story. We have multiple stories, but I'm just going to share one with you of a girl named Veronica who emailed us at the end of 2019 last year. And here I'm just going to read verbatim her comment that she shared with us. I just want to say thank you. I'm 17 years old, and last Christmas I discovered I was pregnant at 16. My boyfriend wanted me to get an abortion, and I had no clue what to do. Scared and wanting to know more about it before I decided what to do, I found your page after searching, "What is an abortion?" I saw the video of the doctor explaining how the baby was killed. Because of that, I am here today holding my almost 5-month healthy baby boy who has been such a blessing to my life. I know if I had gone to Planned Parenthood, they wouldn't have told me what they were really going to do to my baby, but I found your page and he was saved. I am now very pro-life and I will raise my son to be. Thank you for what you do. You saved my baby's life, and I'm sure you will save others like his every day. So awesome. We have countless stories like Veronica's proving and showing that if we just show the victim, again, humanize that victim and show what abortion does, people change their minds for themselves. A little sneak peek, we're actually creating new abortion procedure videos behind the scenes to launch later this year. So again, if you're not following us on social media, you should, so you can get access to these videos and share them yourselves with your family and friends. So by now, hopefully I've convinced you that we have a common goal and mission together that is actually achievable to end abortion and build a culture of life. It's not going to be enough to just convince people that abortion is wrong. We need to know what we are fighting for and envision this future without abortion together in order to take more of the best actions forward against this horrific violence. But a lot of people aren't talking about, what does a culture of life even look like? How do we envision a world without abortion? Well, I have some ideas. A culture of life is one in which every single one of us is fundamentally supportive of new human life. The first thing we need to do to build a culture of life is change our own attitudes and our mindsets around children and family life. Babies and children must be seen and welcomed as a blessing to accept and not a burden to escape. We have to change our attitudes towards children and change our view that they are messy or hard to deal with or exhausting or expensive, and instead see and appreciate the joy, the laughter, and the love they bring us and all of the things they teach us. Some ideas. When a mom has an unplanned or unexpected pregnancy, we should cheer that mom on and say, congratulations on this miracle that you have growing inside of you, and you can do this. Here are all the resources and support available for you. When a mom or dad has a crying baby on a flight or in the store, like, let's get rid of our dirty looks or mean looks and words, but and say instead, give that mom or dad encouragement or a friendly smile and a charitable joke and give them some encouragement. We have to, again, change our attitudes and so that we can actually begin the hard work. It starts with us, with each of us individually, change our attitudes and to then actually take action towards building this culture of life. And in order to take those actions, which I'm going to share with you 3 in a little bit, I want us to envision together what the world will look like when we make abortion unthinkable. We have to envision a world. We have to picture it. A world where babies are welcomed and loved because they are recognized as the true miracles that they are. A world where, again, when women find themselves in crisis pregnancies or unexpected pregnancies, they know right away who to turn to in order to welcome and care for that child and to have the support that they need to bring that child to this side of the womb. We have to envision this world where adoption and foster care systems are freed from corruption, made affordable for all, and each child is treated with love and respect through that process. We have to envision this world together of where women see children as another fulfillment of their dreams, not a hindrance or a block to their dreams, but in addition to that, women are able to pursue their education and career and have children. We have to envision this world where men take responsibility for their fatherhood and respect women, that men understand that they are not ready to, if they are not ready to have a child with a woman, then they are not ready to have sex with her. We have to envision a world where society is made up of strong marriages, where love is self-sacrificing and commitment is permanent, and where spouses are filled with joy in loving each other. The family must be seen and kept and protected as a whole unit of mother, father, and child or children who love each other and who are supported by the communities and vice versa. This culture of life will be a culture that with every new child that is welcomed, they are seen as an invaluable gift, and no matter the circumstances, they are welcomed. Every difficult circumstance can and will be overcome. In a culture of life, having a choice to kill your child because of inconvenience or fear is going to be completely unthinkable. So, how are we going to begin creating this awesome culture that I just described? Again, change our attitudes first in how we interact with families and how we interact with children. And then I have 3 action steps that you can start taking today. And I challenge every single person to take these actions into their fight into the future. January is not the only month to be pro-life because of the March for Life and people talking about it, but it has to be done every single day because this fight and the violence is happening every single day. So we have to take some sort of action every day in this fight. So 3 things. 1, I highly recommend learning and continuing to learn and educate ourselves. So learn and get educated. Read pro-life books, read pro-life articles, become informed. You can watch, if you are challenged with some difficult pro-choice or pro-abortion arguments, Live Action actually created pro-life reply videos. So it's 3-minute videos that kind of explain and break down some of the most common pro-abortion arguments so that you can have the talking points that you need in those tough conversations with your peers, friends, family. So check them out. Again, that's Pro-Life Replies, and they're actually on our website, prolifereplies.liveaction.org. And again, we have to continue to really educate ourselves and convict ourselves through this education that this violence is happening, understand the industry that is pushing for it and protecting it in order to be able to then take further action on behalf of the preborn. So that's number 1, continue to learn and educate ourselves and be informed. So number 2 is going to be witness and advocate. Know who represents you in your state and contact them about abortion-related legislation. Use your voice and speak up for the voiceless. Sign up to become a Live Action ambassador. If you haven't heard, we have a really cool ambassador program to get training and more action alerts that you can take action and advocate for the preborn. You can share pro-life content online, like the abortion procedure videos I explained on your social media handles. You can also be a beautiful witness to life by showing up outside of the abortion facilities and locations to pray and peacefully protest. We know of so many stories and beautiful conversions, and even of facilities shutting down because of the prayer and activism and witnessing that's been happening outside of abortion facilities. And that is where we're able to change hearts and minds and save lives on the ground. So again, number 2 is witness and advocate ourselves. And then 3 is donate. Put your money into action and give to your church's local pro-life efforts. Find your favorite nonprofit and give to them, or your local crisis pregnancy center. The pro-life movement needs the funding to be able to keep going. So again, that was learn and be informed, witness and advocate, and donate. Put your money where your mouth is. Again, this pro-life movement is going to end abortion, make it unthinkable. We are going to build a culture of life, but we can only do it with you. We can only do it if you use your actions, your time, your talents, and your energy for this battle. You are irreplaceable and unmistakable and unrepeatable. No one can bring to the pro-life movement or speak in the way that you can on behalf of the preborn. Your unique story and skills and talents are made for a very special role in the movement. It could be full-time, part-time, volunteer. And these babies need you to speak up on behalf of them. We are on the side of victory, and we are in this together. And I look forward to fighting alongside all of you in the days ahead. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.